Let's go.
Let's go.
We had a little bit of an issue, but it's all good. We're
Yeah.
back, baby. And, man, I'm just happy. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, it feels like, honestly, just so great to be through to the 16. It just sort of feels like a weight off our shoulders, and I'm sure even more than a weight off our shoulders, that Ronnie is feeling like the weight of the world off of his shoulders.
He had a little fire under him probably all week.
Yeah.
I would assume there was a meeting or two where they're saying, hey, let's look at these results, but, you're in the hot seat right now.
Yeah. We were pretty close to being Atlanta, basically. Frank DeBoer went out. Now, I mean, it had to be us and them without a coach if we were both not through to the 16. I'm kind of glad. Well, obviously, I'm glad that we're not in that position. But it just feels like Ronnie kind of dodged a bullet here. But hopefully now, he's a little more focused in on how serious his situation is, at least, to, remaining a manager of the team. And maybe we could steal another result or two and sort of do something here that's, worth being happy about.
I think, with us being insanely lucky to be here, our mindset has to be completely different from the playoff that happened last year. It has to be a complete 180 because we came to that game 100% expecting to go through.
Yep.
And that is definitely not the case this time. We're happy to be here. Hopefully, Alex Ring can get that locker room really locked in and say, hey, you want Ronnie here or not? That doesn't matter. We're playing for the badge right now.
Right.
And so everybody needs to be on their best behavior on the field.
Yeah.
Start making moves. Start making runs. Look like you care. Ask Tati how to do it. He'll tell you. But yeah, it's got to be a completely different mindset.
Yeah, just have to tighten up all the like on all the little things, like you talk about. That's your biggest thing is like if we're not doing the little things right, then those little things pile up, and then all of a sudden we're down 2-0 in 9 minutes to Orlando.
Exactly.
And Ronnie's on the bench with his face in his hands, looking defeated, and we're
not
down.
even trying to coach.
Yeah. So, like you said, a way different vibe in terms of how we're coming into this matchup against Toronto this time. We're not off a week's rest, and we're not expecting to just blow through them. Although I guess people are expecting us to blow through them, because did you see I sent you the post on MLS now? I don't know if that was like a fan vote or an analyst or like an MLS vote, but we're tied for the third most likely to go through. Behind,
which doesn't make any no, not to go through. That was to win the whole thing. Which I'm not even going there. Honestly, I'm not allowing my brain to go there.
No.
Because I don't want the disappointment I had at MetLife.
Yeah.
That was...
Everything right now is just free soccer. We're on a free soccer time.
We got out of jail for free.
Yep.
And now we're going to ride the board the best we can.
Yep.
But like you said, in Orlando, there's just the little things going wrong that you cannot have happen. You cannot have... if we're playing out of the back, then as the right or left back, you got to be making space and making moves so that you can get the ball up. You had Tinnerholm just kind of standing around watching Chanel play on the ball.
Yep.
You can't have that happen. So, that's what happens when, you're too locked down and you feel like you can't move at all. So hopefully he frees up some players to make their moves and to do what they've always done to get this team some wins. So
yeah, you would hope that hopefully somebody is chiming in and kind of letting Ronnie know that what he's been doing hasn't been working. That three in the back hasn't been working. That rigid formation, kind of confining Ring to doing whatever you want him to do, it isn't working. And of course he's definitely he's heard of things from outside of the bubble. Like all of his time has not been filled up with just focusing on things there. He's definitely not busy enough to avoid the fact that there's things on the line for him, and not necessarily for the whole club. So it's sort of on him he holds his own destiny, I would say, in a way.
It should be his assistants that are telling him, hey, this isn't working.
Yep. Medi's probably in there, hopefully saying something to him.
And it should be, it's not a bad conversation. Mm-hmm. It just is a conversation that is necessary.
Yeah, it's an attempt to get us back on track. It's not,
And, I do put that on Ronnie for not getting up on the sideline and screaming, because if his plan is to play out of the back or whatever it is, pick a single tactic that goes into playing a full professional game. It's your job, right, to yell at the players and yell out what you want them to do if they're not doing it. But at the same time, those players knew going into that game, hey, if I'm at right back, I've got to make room so that we can play this ball out.
Right.
They weren't doing that. Tennerholm wasn't doing that. The midfield wasn't coming to help center backs or even the right backs to make space. There was a few times where we did it, properly, but a lot of lost possession, a lot of sloppiness in midfield, a lot of giving him Matriza and he's trying to dribble around people because there's nobody else making moves for him.
Right.
And we're the first to say Matriza hasn't really performed, contrary to what a lot of people believe. But at the same time, he's not getting people making runs for him.
Right.
Outside of Hebert, nobody's making movement.
Yeah.
So,
I think one of the big things about Inter when we played them was we didn't have Hebert on the field, and I actually feel like that would have been a game where he might have flourished in. Like, he probably could have netted at least 2 just based on the fact, if everybody was sort of clicking, just based on the fact of how bad, Inter really was. So it's unfortunate that Hebert wasn't able to start, but do you think that he's going to, be back starting, if health is fine, starting for this Toronto game?
Definitely. I think it was part him having a knock and also part Ronnie maybe thinking ahead and going, I know we'll get a result here. I should probably rest Hebert, not only for the off chance that we actually go through on other people's results, but on the other, obviously there's going to be more season after this. When that'll happen, who knows? But playing Hebert in that game, risking him getting an injury that could leave him out for the rest of the season, probably not worth it. But this game is definitely do or die for him, so who knows who we'll see. I didn't see Acevedo. We saw him in training.
Yeah, but also with the Hebert benching, aside from just the knock, but, he's been cold. And you see strikers can get sat after a couple games if they're cold, just to sort of, maybe give their head a reset, put them in a place where they realize, the team doesn't necessarily revolve around you. So let's figure this out, get somewhere mentally where you now understanding, we really do rely on you and we need you. And he definitely saw that. I would assume that's all that would be going through any player said that's on the bench is like, if I was in there, I could make a difference. Right. So maybe that lit, another fire under him, and he might get in there and net something. Yeah. So,
well, and you got a really, really hungry Tati, who's fighting to not. He wants to score goals. It's not really coming for him right now.
Right.
But he's playing with crazy desire, so it's hard to keep him out.
Yep.
And especially when you have Hebert, not necessarily in bad form, just not scoring as well.
Yep.
So how do you choose? We've always kind of had this problem at NYCFC where we have guys who are fighting for positions and never really scoring. So I'd like to see the goals.
Yeah,
I think we're due some goals.
Sure. Hopefully. I mean, I would love if we go out there and we net like at least 3 or something. It would feel like even more of a relief,
To see Michael Bradley cry would be magical.
But out with the old Americans and in with the new ones.
He makes me so angry. Watching him for the national team just makes me mad. Even if we're talking 2018 on, it makes me mad to see him on the field.
Yeah.
Because I think he's too slow for the national team.
And
he's always thinking going backwards. It's the same problem we had with Beckerman. But we need some new guys in who want to play the ball up like McKinney.
Right. So this was just a short one. Right now we're in the middle of the Orlando game had just finished where they went through. We're in the middle of that game and the Rebs and Philly playing right now. I think it's halftime.
Halftime right now?
Still, 0-0 right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, just want to get a matchup out there. So
yeah, and even though fans of NYCFC, we definitely don't want to see Philly go through. I feel like there's a little rivalry there.
Yeah, that's how I felt about Orlando too. Just kind of being from our group. I didn't really want
either from our group and just kind of a thorn. Union have always been a thorn.
Yeah. It's an Eastern Conference thing too, is what it is. So.
Yeah, but I would like to see the Revs go through. Just it'll make N95 Michael happy. So him happy makes us happy.
Yeah.
And so we're hoping for a little result there. But when it comes to Revs NYCFC, if that ever could happen, I haven't looked at the bracket yet. But if that could ever happen, obviously, sorry, Mike, but we're not going to even question that.
And then at least we do have some good news for him though, because Hartford Athletic today had a crazy game where they were down 2-0 at like the 14th minute, sort of like when Orlando killed us earlier in the tournament, and they ended up coming back, scoring 3 to win it. So that's 3 wins in a row for them. Can't be angry about that in any way.
It's a great win. Three in a row, 9 points. The team's looking really, really good. I'm very, very excited for this team.
Yeah.
And I want to get out there and see a game.
Yeah, we have to get out to Dillon Stadium soon for sure. So yeah, it was a short one. We're gonna run the clips from the watch along. We got that for you. So other than that,
stay tuned.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go them boys in blue.